Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, let me take that down. Let me take that down. I forgot. I have to do my disclaimer. Hold up, big swole up. Before we do anything over here on YouTube, we like to give a disclaimer so that people know, so that you know we are here for you. Good morning to all of y'all. Yes, this is a pre-record. I know you guys some of you don't like pre-record, so you can leave now. But let me get to this disclaimer before we go. All right. Now let's hold on. I got something to say. I got something that I want to show y'all before we go. Cause I kind of agree with this dude. It's just becoming a thing now that everybody's reporting on who's snitching and who, like, every black man gotta be a gangster and an executive. Like, who's the rival Gucci man? Like, what exec do they expect to act like Gucci man? What white exec do they expect to get the scrap and get out here in the streets if somebody do something to them? I think it's nobody. What's taking this internet so long? Yeah, I think it's nobody. I don't think there's anyone out there that expect any white exec to act like Gucci man. So everybody's worried about who's snitching and who's this when it comes to a black entertainer. And so this video that I'm going to play is by Trap More Ross, but I'm going to play this one beforehand. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this.
The amount of non-black content creators who center their content around our legal situations and get into the bottom of who snitched in them. And at this point, it's starting to feel like a conspiracy because they never have the same energy. For
19 kilos of fentanyl already discovered, including some in a toilet, 17 arrests made, and more likely soon.
No videos trying to expose who snitched on this, huh? Y'all ain't running up to the courtroom trying to get no paperwork and trying to retrieve the interrogation video so you can put them out or nothing, right?
Tonight, a multi-million-dollar hospice fraud scheme has unraveled. California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced 21 people have been charged in a $267 million case.
No videos trying to expose who snitched on this.
He's the executive director of the charity Abundant Blessings and was given tens of millions of dollars in funds between 2018 and 2025 to feed and house roughly 600 individuals across the greater LA area. That meant providing 3 nutritious meals a day. Instead, the assistant U.S. attorney, Bill Asaley, alleges Sufer gave them this microwavable ramen.
This is what he was providing, ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money.
No videos trying to expose who snitched on this, huh? Like, something ain't right. Like, they will bypass stories like those to cover stories that are significantly smaller when they involve us. And believe it or not, sometimes the people they talking about aren't even gang members or criminals. For example, 1090 Jake made a video talking about the hood fisherman was a snitch because he testified against somebody who shot him 4 times, and he literally catches fish for a living. Or they will go to the extent of lying, like in this case. You mean to tell me Trap Lord Ross is going to insinuate that Lil Durk is a snitch because somebody got grabbed up for a crime, admitted to that crime, and said that he did it with Lil Durk, and when Lil Durk say, nah, he ain't do that with me, he did that by himself. That's snitching? Like what is going on? There's a wild and inappropriate amount of non-black content creators who center their...
Yeah, so I never agreed with Trap Lord Lil Ross, even though this video that's coming up is by him. I never agreed with him that Lil Durk was a snitch. And this is him right here. But I never agreed with him that Lil Durk is a snitch because he said, I got nothing to do with that. I'm tired of everybody trying to qualify everybody as a snitch. 1090 Jake, I'm a sidewalk brother. I pride myself on being a sidewalk N-word. And the difference that I think, the reason why people don't touch you guys and the reason why they touch us is because you guys keep us trapped in this little mental euphoria where you got most black boys that walk around the streets. They uphold street rules when they're not street cats. 1090 Jake will call the cops on you. He's no longer a street cat. He's a civilian. He walks around with pride saying, I'm a civilian. This guy right here will call the cops on you. And so they got a hands-off policy on these people. And the only reason why they touch us as black individuals is because they expect us, one, not to tell. Number two, they expect you to go and do what they wanted Gucci Man to do to 𝐬𝐨𝐳𝐧𝐭, which is never call the cops, go out and go get your lick back. So therefore, all us black men end up locked up. They only want us locked up or unalive. It makes no sense. In order to act like a normal civilian, if somebody do something to you, you have to call the police. That's the only thing that makes you a civilian. They want to make all of us black men seem like savages, seem like we can't use the legal court system to sue. I see Boosie is going back and forth with Rod Wave. I got to do a video on that. A black man can't be a businessman. He has to always act like a street thug. He can never grow and evolve. Gucci Man was acting like a child when he was drunk and on lean every day. But once he level up, get married, do positive things like burpees and sit-ups and push-ups, now he's supposed to still be in the mental enslavement of, hey, a guy do something to me, I got to risk it all. Now artists don't want to sign to him and do business with him because he's not a thug. This makes no sense. How are we going to be there for our women and our children if every time somebody do something to us, the white man can get us and turn us into a slave? Because that's what the mentality is. You did something to me, I'm going to go turn myself in to be a slave because of it. Little Durk was blessed. Little Durk is successful. Why would he allegedly put himself in this situation around people that is doing certain things that he shouldn't be a part of? Some say it was grief. Some say it was he had to get back for King Von. Some say he was grieving because of his brother got unalive. But that's a part of the game. If you are a part of unaliving people, you in the streets, then it can happen both ways. So I just think this is a mess of a situation. Nobody's going to win in this situation. This is how you beat the hood. You overcome the odds. You get out of the hood, and then you end up taking your family right back. And it'll be worse for his family this time because people remember what happened when he had the money. When they know what his sisters and friends and family was acting like when he had all this money. If he get convicted, they know when that money gone, they gonna remember everything that was said, everything that was happening. They gonna remember from the woman's side of things. They gonna remember from the guy's side of things, and they gonna be out for revenge by every way they can get it. But let's get into this video. This is Trap Lord Ross. He's been making headways because he's out there. Got to give him his credit. He's out there confronting the situation. He's not sitting from a room. He's not from America, I don't think. But for whatever reason, he's intrigued by this hip hop case. But he's out front. And even though I don't agree with him, he's out front doing this case. Now, this is some inside stuff that we didn't know about. OTF Jam took the stand, and we're about to hear some inside information from a person who's actually in the courtroom and hearing Jam and all these guys say stuff. And man, I just can't help but say Young Dolph was right again. The same people that you break your neck for, he done mentioned this boy OTF Jam in several songs. And this is the guy that's testifying on. Crazy work. Let's get it.
No free Durk fans that I can see, but basically there was a very crazy update, and what ended up happening was basically OTF Jam was back on the stand for the whole first half of the day. He ended up saying some pretty crazy comments, especially at the end. So I'm going to start at the end and work backwards. But they basically asked Jam, they said, why did you choose to cooperate? What was your motivation for this? Why did you turn on Lil Durk? And he basically said, I was mad at Lil Durk for putting me in that situation, and I'm still mad at him now. He said that Vonnie seemed like a goofy to me. I did something that I know I shouldn't have done. And the last time I did something with people that I didn't know, I did 12 years for it. I was doing this for Durk's selfish reasons. Maybe Cuz and Dee had a reason to do it. I didn't have no relationship with Von. I basically didn't know a whole bunch of these people that were sent on the hit. He basically said, I felt like Durk sent me on selfish bullshit. He said, I can't forget all the support that Durk gave me, especially when I was locked up. I can never forget that. I still got love for him. But he says, look, I know how it looks now, but I still got for him. Blood was there for me. I can't forget that. And I feel bad for telling. But at the same time, I still love him, but I don't respect him. He said that he could be killed for his testimony for cooperating. And then he also kind of pointed out a couple of things that really just motivated him, that why in this occasion did he decide to tell? He explained there were multiple reasons. He said he felt like the hit was done sloppy. It was done with people who shouldn't have been there. Obviously, he said that he thought Vonnie was a goofy. And he said there's a big difference between doing something to somebody that you don't like. But he said in this case, he felt like Lil Pab ain't have nothing to do with it. He said he felt like an innocent man got killed and it weighed heavily on him. He wanted to get it off his chest. He said he didn't think it was guaranteed that he would get caught, but he thought about it. He thought it was hot. He said, why do we go and do this in LA with all them rich people and actors around? He said that was a bad place to do a hit. So the prosecutors actually asked him, they said, look, you testified and you pled guilty for your role in the LA shooting as well as 2 other murders. You know, what are you hoping for from this? He said, well, I'm hoping for a reduction in my sentence, but he made it clear there's been no promises made. He's not getting out. I'm not going to lie to you. Jam having 3 bodies, he probably shouldn't be out here walking around straight after this. But he basically said he pled guilty with the 2 other murders. And, you know, he just basically wanted to get it all off his chest. And he said it was weighing heavily on me what happened to Lil Pab, and he saw an opportunity and he took it. So it was some pretty crazy testimony. That last part when they kind of broke, you know, he said it straight out of his mouth. He said, I still got love for Durk and I can't forget what he did for me, but he put me in a bad situation with some goofies. It was selfish and I'm not rocking with it. So that was pretty crazy, but there was a whole lot of other crazy testimony that Jam put across, and I'm going to tell you all about it in different videos. So stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated on everything. And yeah, it's going to be a crazy day. I think he's going to be up there all day, maybe even into tomorrow. So we just got some crazy new information about how it went down when Jam got arrested and decided to start cooperating with the FBI. So apparently he was arrested in 2023 for something completely unrelated. He was pulled over in a car that apparently had a gun in it while he was still on parole from that attempted murder case that he just got out after serving 12 years on. And he basically said that at that point he decided to talk to the FBI. He wanted to get it off of his chest. The Lil Pab murder was weighing on him. He felt like Pab was an innocent man and that he'd been sent.
Golly. So even when you try to do things, it don't matter the way you try to do this type of stuff. Like, he got caught with a gun on an unrelated situation. Now, I keep telling you guys a long time ago, I said these rappers, they talk too much, and it's the people that you like. So it don't matter that it's Durk. He still is on record shouting out a guy that's allegedly unaliving people. A guy who went and got caught and confessed unaliver for 3 bodies. 1, 2, 3. This guy is on songs. They got Lil Durk several times. I'm with my twin Jam. Don't get mad because I'm with Jam and all this. Jam get out of jail. I got 50 racks. And you can't do that. I don't know what the heck done happened with these rappers to where you're rapping about real scenarios. You're pointing out the actual guy who's actually unaliving people. This is stupid. TSA to all rappers, stop doing that. Or is it PSA? Public service announcement. PSA to all rappers, stop doing that. That is dumb. You getting your mans in them. You are getting your shooter identified. You shouldn't have one, but if you're going to have one, you're getting them identified. The feds are going to go lean on them like a kickstand, boy. Like a kickstand on a bike. They're going to lean on you. And you're hoping that this guy keep it real. So basically what you're saying is your shooter is so real that you can point him out, identify him, put heat on him, and then he can't snitch on you after you dry snitching on him. Like I ain't even gonna say dry snitching. You're bringing attention to him. You should not do that. Stop doing that. That is crazy to me. Now this guy Jam that everybody says is real, he don't want to just spend the rest of his life in jail. No one does. So now it is what it is. Now he's started up with a street life, and you gotta be careful talking about this dude. He's a straight up unaliver. But the guy was a serious dude. But now he's given a reason. Oh, well, you know, I don't feel like I should have been on this hit with this guy. Then why go? And then now he's gonna say that he was afraid that something can happen to him. Who knows? You know, I'm glad now it make my choices seem that much better. You know, when I get to just sip my coffee, when I just get to grab a different bottle of water every time I feel like it, I can just go in the bathroom right now if I feel like it. I'm up talking to y'all. This sidewalk stuff feels so good. Look, I can breathe air without smelling a man's butt. Because you know, in them jail cells, you boxed in. You smelling toxins, feet, dudes rapping, dudes letting out their toxins. Ugh. I got to deal with somebody else's mental issues. And people are signing up for this for life. Drinking out of a toilet. When you had it as good as Little Durk, I wouldn't trade that for nobody. I'm sorry.
On a dummy mission with some goofies by Durk for selfish reasons. And he said he saw an opportunity to get out of the situation. What was very interesting is when he got arrested, he basically wrote a handwritten note to the FBI. So what he claimed is that he said that he was allowed to make a phone call. He said the official phone wasn't there, or it wasn't working. So they said, look, we'll let you make a supervised recorded call on your cell phone. But like, that's what we're going to have to do. We'll allow you that. So he made a call, and then he told the cops, take another bit of paper to write down a phone number. They said, sure, but he didn't write down a phone number. He wrote down a handwritten note, which said this exactly. It just said, I know about murders. I don't want to talk on camera. I know a lot. So he gave that handwritten note to an arresting officer. That basically was then, works its way up the chain to the FBI. And the prosecutors asked him, they said, why didn't you want to be on camera? Obviously.
That is diabolical. I used to write notes as a kid like that. I used to be like, hey, girl, do you like me? Check yes or no. And I thought I was a player. I'm talking about, yeah, yes or no. Yeah, do you love me? That was player back then. I mean, you gotta, But this man wrote a note, straight up unaliver, wrote a note to the feds. Oh, the streets is over. I'm talking about that. He is a triple threat. He will unalive you. He ain't afraid to put that tool on you anywhere. They unalive this man up the street in Beverly Hills. That ain't where you unalive somebody at. There's no, let me get that correct, YouTube. You should not unalive anybody, period. But the Beverly Center in Beverly Hills, you unaliving people at nice hotels. You're thinking about unaliving him as he come out to get his marijuana in front of all those people. You're bringing the streets to Beverly Hills, showing people in that culture savagery of your culture. And then what happens is when you do things that's supposed to be in the streets, that's supposed to be located to certain areas, like in the hood, and you bring that out into the world and you let the world see how savage you can be. And you let the world see that in the middle of, this ain't just rap, in the middle of the day, you could be pulling somebody's lifeless body out of a car right up the street from outside shopping and all the things that they put there for a totally different culture that got nothing to do with this culture. And you go do that in front of them. So I understand kind of why OTF Jam was like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, why not wait till we go back to Georgia where we can catch them on a country road gas station like they tried to do several times allegedly? Why do this in a spot like that? It just don't make sense. But we'll see.
This is going to be a big controversial thing when it comes to Brian Steele. Obviously, he was absolutely clapping back. I believe it was yesterday, talking about why weren't all of these interviews recorded? You spoke to Jam 30, 40 times. You barely recorded any of those interviews. Well, this is kind of a slap in the face to Brian Steele because Jam said specifically, I don't want to be on no camera. And they said, why didn't you want to be on no camera? Now, this is crazy, all right? He said, well, I didn't want to be on camera because a lot of people have been getting exposed on their body cams doing embarrassing shit. They be getting exposed on social media for telling on the body cam, snitching, crying, which is obviously a reference to a very infamous Chicago video where, one of the shorties from over there was kind of apparently caught on a case and he was bawling out, crying to the cops. And there's been a lot of rumors about whether that case was connected to the Jam case, whether that kid that was crying in the body cam footage might have had a dirty gun that Jam had used in a different murder. So Jam made direct reference to that. As I would have said in my previous video, Jam made it clear. He said, look, he was mad at Lil Durk for putting him in that situation. Even though Durk did a lot for him, he basically said he's still mad at him. He put me in a situation with goofies. He didn't trust Bonnie. He didn't know why he'd been put in that situation with him. And basically that's why he decided to make that decision and speak to the FBI. Who knows what sort of time he's going to get? I mean, allegedly, not even allegedly, he has admitted to 3 murders and, allegedly there's more. So he definitely getting some serious years. I can't imagine them just letting him go. But they made it very clear. He's not been offered a deal. They've not promised him no time. He's not getting out of everything. He basically is leaving it in God's hands and cooperating. And he didn't say I cooperated to get out of time. He said, I felt bad about this. It was weighing on my heart and Pab was an innocent man. So a lot of the Durk fans have been saying there's no evidence, no one was ever paid, there's nothing. But it turns out apparently Durk might have actually finessed all of the hitmen, allegedly, out of any money. So we heard yesterday that there was a conversation in a studio where Durk basically said to a bunch of alleged OTF members, like, look, anybody that kills 𝐷 or Lil Tim, you're going to be straight. And somebody said, are we talking like half a ticket or $1 million? And Durk just said, hey, you're going to be straight. You ain't going to have to worry about nothing. So basically, apparently all these hitters that got involved in this hit went and did their thing. It sounds like nobody ever got paid. OTF Jam said he never got paid anything by Durk, even though he was definitely expecting something. As far as the murder, he says he was never paid anything. But what is interesting is that he said, all right, because Brian Steele was licking his lips thinking, oh, he didn't get paid, this is going to be lit. But then the feds basically said, but you were expecting something, right? Because that conversation in the studio, people talking about meal tickets and Durk saying you ain't going to have to worry about nothing. He was like, yeah. And then they said, Jam basically said, look, I was never a rapper. I never dropped a verse in my life. And then within a few months of the murder, I was recording my first song, The Federal Freestyle. I got paid $10K for that, and it was on the OTF Loyal Bros album, okay? I think it was Loyal Bros 2. Obviously, I've said before that this album is like the ultimate self-snitching album. It's basically got back-to-back confessions. Booney Mo got a song on there called They Know.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. This guy is not from our culture, so he's pointing it out. Us and our culture seem like we're afraid to point it out. But I've said this a long time ago. These rappers self-snitch. They get up here and they talk about things that's happened in real life that the police can connect. There's a body that's actually there. What you just rapped about in a song, the person got hit the same way you say they got hit in the song, and then you want to call it art? The one thing about a movie, they let you know when it's art or it's based on a true story. You guys are doing based on a true story type of rap, trying to say it's art and it's artistic. That's not going to work. Whoever, that's like the people who are getting on Snapchat, showing guns and marijuana and all kind of stuff, and then thinking it's going to erase. It's in the damn iCloud. Stop doing this stupidity. Learn the law. Learn the rule. It's not good enough for you to just be gangster no more. Please learn the law. It's okay. Learning the law is good for a civilian, and it's definitely good for a gangster if you're going to be a gangster, because this is stupid. This stuff right here that I'm hearing, it makes no sense. I'm not a street cat, but listening to some of this stuff makes me think these guys were never street cats either. They was emotional about something. They had the money. They had the firearms. They had the know-how to set it up, and it's just stupid. You're renting cars that can be traced back to a rental car place. They got trackers, tags that the rental car place is going to talk about. It's going to show who rented it. It's going to show everything. What are you guys doing? What are we doing here as a culture? This is what's okay. Salute to the chat, man. I don't know. Let's keep going.
That we did it, all right? So that's what was going on, okay? He got his 10K, but apparently everyone was getting finessed. Apparently two of the other shooters that were there, they were basically on Vonnie's ass talking about when we're going to get paid at the In-N-Out, and apparently Vonnie gave him the slip. He basically put him on the phone with Durk and said, basically, they was asking, yo, Vonnie, are you going to straighten out the money? They got Durk on a FaceTime and he said, I got them. They're going to be straight. And then they left. So I don't know if Durk ever paid him anything after that. It sounds like Durk might have inferred that people were going to get $500,000 to $1 million for killing 𝐷, and then basically he just didn't give nobody nothing afterwards. Maybe you thought that was going to be slick and like, oh, if I promise hitmen something and don't pay them, then are they going to be able to get me? I'm not sure that's really going to fly. But I'm sure if anybody is going to make that point well, it's going to be Brian Steele. But that was pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. Jam getting 10K to appear on that project definitely was interesting. I thought they were going to play the Federal Freestyle. They didn't play it. They just showed it. They showed the cover art for Loyal Bros 2. And I ain't going to lie, the Loyal Bros 2 cover art was looking sus too. It's just 5 hooded masked individuals. And you're thinking, wait a minute, isn't that exactly what was sent to go and kill Lil Pab? So that wasn't really a great look either. I'm not sure if too many people picked up on that. But yeah, you know, this whole thing of the hitmen being paid, and obviously it wasn't mentioned, but even there was a lyric that was shown earlier. You know, Brian Steele lied and said it was 𝐷 when it wasn't. It was another Savannah rapper. But that song where they said, oh, shout out Lil Tim, I mean King Tim, it wasn't 𝐷. Brian was wrong. But what they didn't draw attention to is elsewhere. He basically said, oh, I heard there's a meal ticket. And obviously the rumor was it was going around pretty much within weeks of Von's death that there was $1 million bounty on 𝐷's head. So arguably that's been proven to be true, but not many people have pointed that out yet. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'll be back with some more updates for you guys soon. Oh my gosh, so I just heard something crazy in the courthouse about Durk. So Jam, he's on the stand, he's going crazy up there. When Durk allegedly was on FaceTime with him before the hit, Durk told Jam, hey, go crazy. Well, I guess he wasn't expecting him to go this crazy, but allegedly Jam was pissed off about what was going on, you know, with the hit. He felt like Pab was an innocent man. He felt like he had been sent on a dummy crash out mission. He didn't know Von like that. He wasn't part of the beef. He was frustrated and he felt, you know, low-key pissed off with Durk that he had sent him on the hit. He actually allegedly FaceTime Durk to confront him about this. And he said that Durk answered, and he was at his crib with OTF C3, all right? And he said, I asked Blood. He said, I said to Durk, like, out of 1 million people you could have sent on this mission. He said, I just did 12 years. Why do you have to send me on that dummy mission with a bunch of people I didn't know? And apparently Durk cut Jam off. He didn't even let him finish. And apparently Durk just responded with a smile. He said, I love you, Jam. He said, y'all didn't hit Quando, but you hit Pab. Pab counts. He was on the internet saying he was smoking on Von. And he can't say that no more. And he was just smiling. He said Pab had been disrespectful about Von's death and that basically it counts. That's apparently what he said. And Durk was smiling at him on FaceTime while that was going on. And what's crazy is Pab later said the reason why he told is because he felt like this whole thing was weighing on his conscience. They killed an innocent man. Pab ain't have.
Here you have a dude that's a stone cold unaliver having a conscience now. That's a little confusing. If you done killed or unalive several people, then how do you? I don't know. I guess I don't get it. But this just goes to show you, man. Be careful what you say, because I didn't know this little Pab guy was saying all this stuff, and then I saw some videos. I was like, oh man. I don't understand this whole back and forth like this, but I did see some videos. I'm not saying he deserved what he got, but ooh, man, I just don't understand why guys don't find better use of their time. That's what I would say. But my condolences to the family and all the people that are affected by it. That's close to home. That's Savannah, Georgia. That's right up the street from Brunswick. So my condolences to all the people that's affected by this situation.
Nothing to do with nothing, but Lil Durk allegedly didn't see it that way. Now, look, if you've seen the long 4-hour documentary I did probably like 2-3 years ago now, I've known about this case for a very long time. I did a documentary called Demon Slayers, all about King Von and Lil Tim and all of the things that have been going down in Savannah, Georgia before this happened. If you've seen that, you'll know that no disrespect to Lil Pab or his family, but, you know, he was on a Clubhouse call with OTF members dissing them. He put up a few tweets that were kind of making fun of King Von, and he was standing on business with the Rolling 60s in Savannah, Georgia. He had his own RICO case that he was going to be facing. If Pab was still alive, he might have been facing these RICO charges to do with a car theft ring. That's no disrespect. That's not to say that he deserved it. He wasn't there when Von got killed, and this didn't sit right with Jam. Apparently, basically, Jam kind of thought, like, this isn't what I called about. He was surprised that Durk was talking so hot on that phone. He said, I called to ask why he put me in a situation with goofy dudes that I didn't know, and then he just starts talking about, yeah, I love you. Like, you didn't hit Quando, you hit Pab, it counts. He was on the internet saying he smoked. So he was just like, what the hell? Like, I didn't understand. He said, I wasn't close enough to Flocker to be doing that with him. He sent me out there with goofies that I didn't know. He said, I just wasn't feeling it. He said that he basically kind of just went along with it. He said, yeah, he agreed with what Durk said about Pab and got off the phone, and that was it. And he said, I didn't get no payment for this. I just thought, what the hell? Like, this is just nonsense. So, yeah, I think Lil Durk was obviously happy about what went down, but the way Pab saw it, he'd been roped into killing an innocent man, and obviously he didn't even know he was there to kill Quando until he'd arrived in California. So he said that he no longer respects Durk. All right, so I just see Kanye for the first time. I just see Ye in the courthouse, okay? And basically, it was pretty crazy to see Ye in the flesh. He kind of walked in late. He wasn't there for the very start, but it seems like they low-key be treating the celebrities like VIPs in court, because Machine Gun Kelly was able to cut past all of the media a couple of days ago. Ye managed to get in, even though there was a giant line and he was late. You know what I'm saying? They was making it work for Ye. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Ye stared me down. He looked over to me and just stared me down for an extended period. He looked at me for longer than Durk did when Durk stared me down. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit like, I'm really in the courthouse getting pressed and intimidated by Kanye West right now. This is straight mind games, okay? Now, what was interesting is he looked down for a lot of the testimony. OTF Jam was literally on the stand. We got Durk, Jam, Ye, me, all in the same room at the same time. It was surreal. Now, one thing I will say, and I'm going to criticize Ye for this, okay? Every time the jury enters and leaves the room, you have to stand. You have to rise for the jury and the judge. When the judge comes in on his own, you have to rise for the judge. And the judge made it very clear that the jury is actually above him when it comes to justice. It's the jury that are making the decision. So the judge, as well as everybody else, rises for the jury to show respect for the importance of the jury's role. You know who didn't rise for the jury? Kanye West. He didn't rise for the jury. He wasn't respecting the jury. He wasn't respecting the justice process. And I'll be honest, I don't respect that. I thought that was very disrespectful. I thought that was just not proper, and I don't really like how these celebrities are getting this VIP treatment, but then they're not respecting the jury. This is supposed to be a free society, free press, free speech, but you're supposed to respect the jury. You're supposed to respect the judge. Ye wasn't really respecting any of what goes on. Obviously, he sees himself as a god, right? But at the end of the day, this case is in God's hands and it's in the jury's hands. So we're going to find out what happens. No disrespect, but I personally thought that Ye not rising for the jury was disrespectful, and it didn't.
All right, he getting into Ye not rising for the jury and all this other stuff. We don't need to hear all that. Let's go with this one right here. Appreciate the videos. Let's go with what 6ix9ine said. You know, 6ix9ine was out on his troll mission, and I think he trolled effectively.
And you guys are talking about what the rapper 6ix9ine did, trolling stuff.
The question is, okay, tell us about that conversation. OTF
OTF Jam 9 says, I don't know who, I can't remember who initially brought up the trolling stuff, but Blood got talking about it, and he got to talking about what the rapper 6ix9ine doing. This is on this fat ass, musty, black, fucking gorilla ass nigga, Sally Nash. This the bias shit. He saying, but if you don't like this, let's bring it over here. This nigga about to do life off of Instagram comments. Go to the fucking legend right here.
Durk talks about 6ix9ine trolling him.
So wherever you want to watch it, wherever you want to get your news from, just go buy one of these, the Durk Model 3000. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm gonna do the big Durk. Alhamdulillah. They don't even know what the fuck you saying, nigga. Fuck out of here. Nigga about to get life off, just off of my freedom of speech.
Dang, that's crazy. He said he about to get life just off of my freedom of speech. I know a lot of people don't like 6ix9ine, but man, some of the stuff he's saying is right. We got to stop this culture of stupidity. Now, 6ix9ine got himself in trouble while trolling and doing all this stupidity. Would I do that? Heck to the no. I'm not thinking about doing nothing like that, but we got to put these guns down. I do not understand why Durk would put himself in that situation. Even if you was going to try to do all this, I'm not hanging with my unalivers. I'm not hanging with the guys that's in the street. I'm going to be like over here like Sosa. Don't you ever mess with me, Tony. Don't you ever mess with me, Tony. I'm going to be way over somewhere else while somebody doing something else. Don't call me. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing today. Don't you mess with me, Tony. That's what you got to be. You got $48-50 million, and you around here allegedly going on drills. This stuff is crazy, B. I might go do a live about this, but you know, the live video has been a little sketchy. But y'all have a blessed morning. If you don't know by now, this is a pre-record. I hope you guys are chatting and having a great time. I will be back. I'm up out of this thing. I'm gone.